Tonight, listen carefully. January 28th is not just another date on the calendar. Something shifts tonight. And if you've been feeling it in your spirit, restless thoughts, sudden memories of old relationships, unexplained emotions rising, this message is for you. I want you to understand something before I go any further. Relationship curses don't always look like chaos at first. Sometimes they look like patterns. The same heartbreak in different faces, the same betrayal wearing new names, the same abandonment, rejection, emotional distance over and over again. No matter how much you pray, how much you try, how much you change. I know this because I lived inside that system. I watched how cycles were enforced. I watched how families repeated the same pain for generations and called it normal. But tonight, January 28th, exposes something powerful. Cycles can end. There is a reason you didn't click away from this video. There is a reason your spirit felt a pull when you saw this message. Because relationship curses don't break by accident. They break when truth is revealed. Let me tell you a story. For years, I believed love was supposed to hurt. I believed instability meant passion. I believed silence meant loyalty. Those beliefs didn't come from nowhere. They were planted slowly, quietly through experiences, through family wounds, through trauma passed down like inheritance. And that's how relationship curses survive, not through dramatic rituals, but through unhealed pain. January 28th represents a spiritual interruption. It's the moment when what has been hidden in bloodlines, emotions, and subconscious choices comes into the light. Some of you grew up watching unhealthy love and promised yourself, I'll never be like that. Yet, you ended up in the same kind of relationship, just packaged differently. Others of you keep attracting people who drain you, control you, disappear, or never fully choose you. And you've asked yourself, why does this keep happening to me? It's not because you're unlovable. It's not because you're broken. It's because patterns were operating without your permission. Tonight, January 28th, those patterns are being confronted. Relationship curses often begin with unforgiveness, not just toward others, but toward yourself. Unforgiveness creates open doors. It keeps you tied to the emotional frequency of past pain. Even when the people are gone, some of you are still carrying the voice of someone who hurt you years ago. You don't talk to them anymore, but their words still shape how you love, how you trust, how you see yourself. That is not coincidence. That is residue. But here's the truth. Residue can be washed away. January 28 highlights healing, not denial. This is not about pretending the pain never happened. It's about refusing to let it dictate your future. I remember the moment I realized I was choosing familiar pain over unfamiliar peace. Familiar chaos felt safe. Healthy love felt suspicious. And that's when it clicked. This wasn't just emotional, it was spiritual. Relationship curses convince you that peace is boring, that consistency is fake, that real love always comes with suffering. But tonight, that lie loses its authority. God does not design love to destroy you, He designs it to restore you. And restoration starts with forgiveness. Forgiveness is not excusing what happened. Forgiveness is cutting the cord that keeps you emotionally tied to the wound. It's saying, this will not define me anymore. January 28 is a line in the sand. Old soul ties lose their grip tonight. Emotional agreements made in pain are being revoked. Some of you are about to notice something strange in the coming days. You'll feel lighter. You'll think about people who once consumed your mind and feel nothing. You'll realize you're no longer attracted to what once pulled you in. That's not loss, that's freedom. Healthy love begins when unhealthy attachments end. But here's the part many people opens. Breaking relationship curses also requires new choices. You can't walk into a healed season with old boundaries. You can't demand respect while accepting neglect. You can't pray for healthy love while entertaining emotional confusion. January 28 calls you higher. It exposes where you've settled out of fear instead of faith. God's power doesn't just remove, it replaces. He doesn't just close doors, He redirects paths. Tonight, something ancient ends. Generational heartbreak stops here. Cycles of divorce, betrayal, emotional abuse, abandonment, they don't get permission to continue through you. You are not here by accident. You are the interruption. And if you feel emotional resistance rising right now, that's confirmation. Curses fight hardest right before they break. Take a breath. Let this truth sink in. You are allowed to experience love without pain. You are allowed to be chosen without begging. You are allowed to rest without fear of abandonment. January 28 is not about forcing love, it's about aligning with it. In the next part, I'm going to expose the hidden signs that a relationship curse is actively breaking and what you must not do during this transition period because many people sabotage their breakthrough without realizing it. Stay with me. This is only the beginning. If you're still here, that tells me something. It tells me this message isn't just information for you, it's confirmation. Because when relationship curses begin to break, there is always a transition phase. And this phase feels confusing if you don't understand what's happening. January 28 doesn't just end all cycles, it exposes them on their way out. Let me explain. When a relationship curse is breaking, life doesn't instantly become perfect. Instead, patterns start malfunctioning. Things that once worked suddenly don't. People who once had access to you feel distant or irritated. Old emotional triggers lose their power or flare up one last time. That's not regression, that's eviction. Many people panic during this phase and think something is wrong with me. No, something is finally right. One of the first signs a relationship curse is breaking is discomfort with what you used to tolerate. You start noticing things you once ignored. Disrespect feels louder. Mixed signals feel exhausting instead of exciting. You no longer have the energy to chase, fix, explain, or overgive. And that shift scares people, especially those who benefited from your silence. I remember when this happened to me. Conversations felt empty, connections felt forced. I couldn't pretend anymore. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid of losing people. I was afraid of losing myself again. That's when I realized the curse was breaking, but my identity had to catch up. January 28 activates clarity. Clarity is uncomfortable because it removes excuses. You can no longer blame confusion when truth is standing in front of you. Another sign relationship curses are breaking is emotional detox. Old memories resurface. Dreams about past relationships appear out of nowhere. You suddenly feel grief for things you thought you healed from. This isn't backward movement. This is final release. Healing isn't linear, it comes in layers. And sometimes God allows you to feel the pain again, not to trap you in it, but to drain it completely. Think of it like poison leaving the body. It doesn't exit quietly. January 28 marks a spiritual detox for your heart. Now listen carefully. This is where many people sabotage their breakthrough. When the curse starts breaking, there is a temptation to return to what feels familiar. You might feel the urge to text someone you already outgrew. You might romanticize a relationship that nearly destroyed you. You might think maybe it wasn't that bad. That voice is not intuition, that's withdrawal. Curses hate being evicted. They'll try to renegotiate access. But hear this clearly. What broke you cannot heal you. What drained you cannot restore you. What confused you cannot suddenly bring clarity. January 28 requires discernment. Healthy love doesn't rush you. It doesn't pressure you. It doesn't require you to abandon your boundaries to prove loyalty. If you feel pulled toward chaos right now, pause. Ask yourself, is this peace or is this familiarity? Because they are not the same. Another sign the curse is breaking is silence. Some of you will experience a strange quiet, no drama, no intense emotions, no highs and lows, and at first it feels empty. But that silence is space, space for healing, space for redefinition, space for God to reset your understanding of love. Many people mistake peace for boredom because their nervous system was trained in chaos. But peace is where healthy love grows. January 28 retrains your emotional responses. Now, let me talk about forgiveness again, but deeper. Forgiveness during this season is not a one time decision, it's a process. You forgive people for what they did, then you forgive yourself for what you allowed. Then you forgive yourself again for not knowing better at the time. Self forgiveness is the final key that breaks relationship curses. Because as long as you punish yourself, you subconsciously choose relationships that punish you too. God's power doesn't just free you from others, it frees you from self condemnation. Tonight, you are allowed to release shame. Shame is not humility, it's bondage. You did the best you could with the awareness you had, and now you know more. That's growth. January 28 also exposes false responsibility. Some of you were trained to believe it was your job to save people, to carry emotional weight that was never yours, to stay loyal even when it cost you your peace. That's not love. That's survival conditioning. Healthy love is mutual. It doesn't require self eraser. And here's a hard truth: not everyone who leaves your life during this season is a loss. Some are exits you are too afraid to make yourself. God sometimes removes people you won't release because He sees what you can't. This isn't punishment, it's protection. As relationship curses break, your standards rise, and not everyone qualifies for the next version of you. January 28 marks the end of emotional survival mode. You are no longer loving to avoid abandonment. You are loving from wholeness, and wholeness attracts different people. In the next part, I'm going to talk about what healthy love actually looks like after a curse is broken, how to recognize it, and how to protect it. Because freedom must be maintained, not just received. Stay with me. What's coming next will help you walk into this new season without fear and without repeating the past. Now we come to the most important part, because breaking a relationship, curse is powerful, but staying free is intentional. January 28 doesn't just close a chapter, it opens a new way of loving. And if you don't understand this new language, you might mistake healthy love for something it's not. After a curse breaks, love feels different, quieter, safer, less dramatic. And at first, that can feel unsettling. You may catch yourself thinking, why am I not anxious? Or why doesn't this feel intense? That's because intensity was never love. It was trauma bonding. Healthy love doesn't trigger your wounds. It doesn't keep you guessing. It doesn't require you to decode behavior or chase reassurance. Healthy love brings consistency. One of the clearest signs you've stepped into a curse free season is emotional regulation. You no longer feel pulled into extremes. You can communicate without fear. You can disagree without panic. You don't feel like you have to perform to be chosen. That's not weakness, that's security. January 28 resets your nervous system. Now, let me be very clear about something. Healthy love will test your patience, not your worth. It will move slower than you're used to. It will feel almost ordinary. And that's where many people self sabotage. They think this doesn't feel like what I'm used to. Exactly. Because what you were used to was damaging. God doesn't rush restoration, He builds it. Another sign of freedom is discernment. You will start recognizing red flags early, not emotionally, but calmly. You won't feel the need to prove yourself or convince anyone to see your value. You'll simply walk away when alignment isn't there. That is power. Relationship curses thrive on emotional urgency. Healthy love thrives on peace. January 28 teaches you to pause before attaching. Now, let's talk about protection, because freedom attracts attention. When relationship curses break, you may notice people from your past resurfacing, messages, apologies, checking in. This isn't random, it's a test of boundaries. You are not required to reopen doors just because someone knocks. Closure does not require access. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. And healing doesn't mean availability. Protecting your heart doesn't make you cold, it makes you wise. Another key to maintaining freedom is obedience to inner peace. If something feels off, you no longer override that feeling to avoid loneliness. Loneliness is temporary, damage can be permanent. January 28 rewires your decision making. You choose alignment over attachment, truth over comfort, peace over familiarity. Now, hear this, because this is for those waiting for love. Healthy love doesn't complete you, it complements you. You don't need someone to fix you, save you, or validate you. You are already whole. When two whole people come together, love becomes a partnership, not a rescue mission. God's power doesn't just prepare someone for you, it prepares you for someone. And preparation often looks like solitude. This season may feel quite raw semantically. That's not delay, that's refinement. You're unlearning habits that attracted pain. You're learning how to recognize safety. That takes time. January 28 marks the beginning, not the end of that process. Now, let me speak to those already in relationships. If your relationship survives this season, it will require honesty. Hidden resentment must surface. Unspoken expectations must be addressed. All dynamics must die. This is not about destruction, it's about transformation. Healthy love evolves. Unhealthy love resists change. If both people are willing to grow, this season will strengthen your bond. If not, separation may be an act of mercy. Either way, you win because you are no longer sacrificing your peace to keep connection. And that's how you know the curse is truly broken. January 28 declares this: you are not destined to repeat pain. You are not bound to generational patterns. You are not disqualified from healthy love. You are allowed to choose differently. And tonight, that choice becomes easier. As you move forward, remember this: love is not found by searching harder, it's found by healing deeper. When you honor yourself, you attract those who honor you. When you walk in truth, you recognize it in others. This is your new foundation. Let go of who you were in survival mode. Welcome who you are in freedom. January 28 didn't just break relationship curses, it introduced you to the version of you that no longer needs them. Walk forward without fear. Love is no longer your battlefield, it is becoming your safe place. And this time it will